from chopper. He arrives on his own plane. But this was perhaps Donald Trump's most celebrated arrival. He escalated himself into the presidential race.
It's the most momentous announcement you can make in your entire career. You're like, I want to come in on an escalator.
Yeah. Hey, only losers walk. Presidents take Air Force One.
And it seems the Simpsons just can't wait for next season to deal with Donald Trump. The Simpsons released this video online tonight.
Hey, hey, hey!
I'm right behind him. Not supposed to stare at it directly, but I can't help it. If I touch it, will it heal my baldness? Oh, it's so wispy. It's a gravity-defying comb-over. I can't believe that this was once on his ass. It's as blonde as a golden marmoset, yet also gray as a long dead donkey. I'm so jealous of all those booby women he's married. If he paid less than $1 million for it, it's a steal.
I am officially running.
No! Don't take me out of the ginger forest! No!
Good morning, guys. It's your man Theodore Miles, back for another Real Talk session. On this episode, we're going to talk about what's really going on, how Trump has the coronavirus, supposedly, and the predictions of the Simpsons that led up to all of this exposure happening the way that it is. Stay tuned.
Gotta get a juicer, gotta drink juice, lose weight, won't get chest pain from answering the phone anymore.
Please don't tell the supervisor I have the flu. I've been working with a shattered pelvis for 3 weeks.
Oh, my juice loosener's never gonna come.
Hey, Dad, this came for you in the mail.
Woohoo!
So, right here they're saying the package came from Osaka, Japan. But today, we know the real coronavirus, the Kung Fu flu, as my president called it, came from China. So, of course, during this Simpson prediction, they're not going to come out and say China directly. But they are mentioning, like an Asian country, that part of the world. Or maybe at the time, this prediction or this plan, maybe at the time they wasn't settled on which country they wanted to release it from. But here, the Simpsons are actually showing that the coronavirus itself, a form of which, the plan for that, well, it was in existence a long time ago.
Mother, get an extra special hug ready. I bought you a new juicer. Good Lord. Flu germs entering every orifice in my head.
Now, how would they know that it was the flu? Why would it be that flu is traveling from an Asian country over to America? Notice when the scene came on, it had American music, like presidential music playing, yet the kids was playing around a statue before they led into this scene.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
I guess the virus stopped at the stoplight, just like those wildfires stopped at the border of, man, I can't even think of the doggone country, man. Canada. They so lame. I couldn't even think of their name for a second.
What the?
You can't kill no virus with no doggone gun, boy.
With over 300 cases now reported. Now over to Arnie Pie with Arnie in the Sky.
Route 401 is going around and around and around and around.
Need a cure! We need a cure! Why, the only cure is bed rest.
Notice, man, when you get the coronavirus, you can't do nothing but go home and lay down and get you some rest, man. They ain't got no drugs or nothing, for you. Now, you can, from what they say, there are some drugs on the market that may help with that. One is primarily made for, I think, malaria patients and stuff like that. Some people have called it hydroxychloroquine, HCQ. And it's funny that, they said that Trump, just yesterday, he was receiving experimental drugs. Man, ain't nobody finna get no president no experimental drugs, man. This is the most powerful man in the world. Let me tell you something. Them folk gave that bang some HCQ, some hydroxychloroquine. That's what they gave that man. They didn't give that man no doggone experimental drugs. It's only experimental, or them calling it that, because they realize that they can't tell everybody to take the HCQ. Or the fact that they're giving it to the president. It is experimental in the fact that it has never been used to treat the coronavirus in official terms. So under that measure, yes, of course, it would be considered experimental. However, man, hydroxychloroquine has been around for at least 50 years or more. Let's get back to it.
Anything I give you would only be a placebo.
Where do we get these placebos?
Maybe there's some in this truck.
Y'all remember the murder hornets? The murder hornets that was supposed to come around? Oh yeah. George Floyd, all of that. We're finna talk about it, baby.
I'm cured. Ow.
As you can see, it appears to be a lot of predictions created by the Simpsons. I don't like to call these predictions when you have the game plan. When you know what's about to happen, it's not a prediction. And even George Floyd was predicted. Some people might say that, oh, how did they predict him? Well, they didn't come out and say do it, obviously. As you can see, there's a similarity between what actually happened and the predictive footage that they would normally like to show. As you can see right here, George Floyd is obviously on the ground by that copper there. So when people try to tell you that, oh, it's all a conspiracy, this stuff ain't real. No, if you have a 50-year plan, a 25-year plan, a 100-year plan, and you're implementing this plan, well, guess what? You can make predictions too. You know the best way to predict the future is to make it happen. Make it happen. There are no predictions. There are only plans when it comes to these episodes with The Simpsons.
I think we should go with a good old-fashioned public health scare.
Yeah. A new disease. No one's immune.
No, we just have to blame it on something that's in every household. House cat flu.
Feeling so well. I feel much better now.
President Trump now hospitalized at Walter Reed.
About 48 hours ago, the president received a special antibody therapy. Yesterday evening, he received his first dose of IV remdesivir.
Yesterday, the White House and his doctors offered contradictory updates. His doctors evading key questions about the president's condition.
He has not received any supplemental oxygen.
He's not on oxygen right now, that's right.
You keep saying
that's
right now, but should we read into the fact that he had been previously?
Yesterday and today, he was not on oxygen.
That's not true, according to the New York Times, which reported the president received supplemental oxygen on Friday at the White House. His chief of staff contradicted doctors on Fox News.
Yesterday morning, we were real concerned with that. He had a fever and his blood oxygen level had dropped rapidly.
The White House also created confusion on the timeline.
Just 72 hours into the diagnosis now.
The president's doctor was forced to release a statement clarifying Mr. Trump was first diagnosed on Thursday, not on Wednesday, as he had said. President Trump is part of a growing cluster of cases, including Republican National Committee Chair Ronna McDaniel, senior aide Hope Hicks, and campaign manager Bill Stepien, all who traveled with him to campaign events in recent days.
Is there any clarity on how he became infected?
Not going to go into that. As far as his care, it's irrelevant.
Or when he became infected?
Yeah, we're not going to go into that.
In addition to Trump and the First Lady, at least 5 guests at the Rose Garden rollout of Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett, former counselor Kellyanne Conway, Notre Dame President Reverend John Jenkins, Senators Mike Lee and Tom Tillis, and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, who himself was hospitalized yesterday. On Tuesday, the president flew to the Cleveland debate with an entourage. His family entered the hall wearing masks, but quickly took them off, as the president himself minimized mask wearing.
When needed, I wear masks.
Okay, let me ask.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from me.
That's crazy. About 3 days after the debate, all of a sudden, Trump had coronavirus. Seems to me that he stole Biden's game plan right out of his playbook. I was just waiting on Biden to come out with that old sympathy card and say, hey, yeah, I got the coronavirus too. Look like Trump beat him to that punch.
Shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen.
On Thursday, the president attended a multi-million-dollar fundraiser at his New Jersey golf club, even after the White House had learned of Hicks's positive diagnosis before he took off.
It was deemed safe for the president to go. He socially distanced. It was an outdoor event, and it was deemed safe.
Already on the campaign trail, Biden, who says he had 2 negative tests on Friday, is suspending negative TV advertising for now, but sending a pointed message.
It's not going away automatically. We have to do our part to be responsible. It means following the science. It means having masking mandates nation.
See, that's what it's all about. Masking mandates. Come on, sheeple. Put your mask on. Be a good citizen. Don't have your own mind. Don't be a tough guy. Don't think for yourself. Matter of fact, keep on breathing in that carbon dioxide. Matter of fact, all the germs is in your lungs that normally should expel out of your lungs. Well, we want you to recirculate those germs back into your body. Not only that, but we want you to stay in a state of fear. And that way, your immune system, it can go down too.
Why?
Already back on his feet. Already moving around.
The president surprising his fans and really the world moments ago. He left the hospital just briefly. Government affairs reporter Melissa Russo monitoring all of the latest developments. And Melissa, there are a lot of them.
Yeah, Ray, that surprise cameo appearance by the COVID-infected president certainly catching everyone off guard, as you can imagine. President Donald Trump emerged from Walter Reed Military Hospital just within the past hour, and he took a ride with his Secret Service detail, waving to the supporters who have been gathered outside the hospital. At first, it wasn't clear whether President Trump was in fact discharged and headed home to the White House, but turns out that was not the case. The White House confirming within the past half hour that the president just took a motorcade trip around the hospital grounds to thank his supporters and, more likely, to show the American people that he's in pretty good shape after some conflicting reports about his health in the past 24 hours. Now, as I mentioned, he's back inside, and he actually released this video explaining what he was about to do.
I also think we're going to pay a little surprise to some of the great patriots that we have out on the street, and they've been out there for a long time, and they've got Trump flags, and they love our country, so I'm not telling anybody but you, but I'm about to make a little surprise visit, so perhaps I'll get there before you get to see me.
Earlier outside Walter Reed Hospital today, the White House physician painted a positive picture.
Since we spoke last, the president has continued to improve.
Inside, the president did the same, tweeting appreciation for his fans and supporters. But White House physician Sean Conley today offered an awkward explanation for why he failed yesterday to disclose some red flags about the president's condition.
I was trying to reflect the upbeat attitude that the team, the president, that his course of illness has had. Didn't want to give any information that might steer the course of illness in another direction, and in doing so, it came off that we were trying to hide something, which wasn't necessarily true.
Today, Dr. Conley clarified that the president had suffered from a high fever.
Hold up, man. What about HIPAA? I mean, why does the main doctor have to say everything? What? Since when?
His oxygen levels had dipped below normal twice, prompting a new treatment today in addition to the remdesivir the president was already receiving.
It was a determination of the team, based predominantly on the timeline from the initial diagnosis, that we initiate.
Why is it that I've never heard of remdesivir? I had to look it up. That's why I put it on the screen so you guys can see it.
Dexamethasone.
Some doctors today were puzzled by that, saying dexamethasone is a steroid treatment usually recommended for severe or critical COVID cases.
Notice when they give a presentation to the press, it has to be
look at that mannequin.
president. That's not very scientific.
It's been a very interesting journey. I learned a lot about COVID. I learned it by really going to school. This is the real school. This isn't the let's read the book school.
That's right.
I get it and I understand it, and it's a very interesting thing. I'm going to be letting you know about it. In the meantime, we love the USA and we love what's happening.
That's what, man.
And that was the president again.
I love the USA too, dog.
Video we told you about when he decided
Trump,
to take that
get
little spin
well, brother.
around the hospital
Get
in
well.
his Secret Service motorcade.
All right, guys. At this point, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and like, subscribe, hit the bell, leave a comment, ask a question. If you want to see a certain type of video, let me know. Here, we're going to be examining a guy. His channel, I believe, is called High Impact. And I've made so many different videos. There's been so many different updates with Trump. This is the second time I've actually made this half of the video. The first half of the video that I had rendered and edited, I went ahead and scrapped it all. Started all over after the Simpsons portion. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I tried to do the best that I can to bring you the information that's how I feel is important.
Thousands of people are now struggling to put food on their table.
A sea of cars jammed into a parking lot in San Antonio. More than 10,000 families waiting their turn at a local food bank. Similar scenes are taking place in cities across the country. In Pittsburgh, the line of motorists stretches more than a mile.
Hey guys, before I start this video, I just want to remind you, if you don't have the 6 months
Say
of
lie.
person in your household,
You got to believe. You got to believe the lie.
Get some from somewhere. We already know they're going to do an economic reset, a currency reset, and a food reset. And if you don't have enough food for everybody in your family, and you're out there with everybody else scrambling around at the last minute trying to get some, it's going to be too late. You can get it from me. It's $100 off instantly right here on this website right here, or just get it from anybody. My link is in the description below and in the pin. Just to give you an example of how it's not so much that the Proud Boys are white supremacists. They do have black people and Hispanic people who are part of the Proud Boys, which is crazy. I'm going to play you the miserable attempt at fake stream media to try to pigeonhole Trump into being a white supremacist and the Proud Boys as white supremacists when he has clearly denounced and denied, at least publicly, white supremacy in all its forms. It's just a ridiculous, it's a dog and pony sideshow. It's a sleight of hand. It's like, look over here, they're pulling out all the stops. You gotta look over here because the Federal Reserve is doing all this stuff over here. Contact tracing, QE infinity, liquidity into the market, propping up the market so that those 401ks can look really good. Listen to this. This is a black guy who's a part of the Proud Boys.
How do I fit in as a white supremacist, you know? How do I fit in there? Yeah. If they're so racist and if they're white supremacists, how do I fit in there? That don't make sense. You know? As you can see, I'm a proud boy. We're not a hate group. I'm not racist.
guys are on the whole party.
Yeah, man.
Party might be a shit show.
I don't support white supremacy. Proud boys don't support white supremacy. You condone that shit. But yeah, we need to resign. If you're gonna be lying to people like that, Yeah, and start doing his job and help the people of Portland. Yeah, stop these riots. What's going on? I mean, Donald Trump. He offered to send aid and he turned it down.
45 hours.
Why? Because he's part of the problem. That's why.
Thank you for saying that. It's sad today when I have to go talk to a black person in Broadway to get the point of view, because I can go talk to a white guy and they can say they're not racist at all.
Yeah.
But you prove it just by the color of your skin, which is horrible that we have a society that way today. But I'm glad that you're willing to talk to me and let me know that the truth.
I'm not being used either.
Yeah. What made you want to be a Proud Boy?
I checked them out. I did research on them. And and they say all these things that I haven't seen that, They believe in God, freedom, and the Constitution, and that's what I believe, we have the same values, and I'm standing with them.
They got the same values I got.
Have the same values as me.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Maybe I should be a proud boy.
Thank you for coming out.
I know I'm a proud man.
Proud Boys does have Mexicans, blacks. Here, I want to play. Let's see if I can find it. This was a really good compilation that showed just how dishonest fake stream media is, and yet this is still all part of the dog and pony cycle.
This final segment, here's the founder of the Proud Boys. I'm gonna let him tell you what they are.
No, we're actually kind of left-wing in a sense. We're very socially liberal. We don't care who's gay. We obviously don't care about race. There's Proud Boys Israel. We're against the drug war. I think that's a waste of time. We want to end all that. We don't like this prison culture, but we also don't like welfare. We're very pro-free speech. We're very pro-Second Amendment. We think that